What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to talk about a lovely new Transformers TCG character card that has been revealed by the lovely folks over at the Transformers trading card game. It's Wingspan! Wingspan looks good, although it's another beast, so they must be bringing in some beast love at some point. There's loads of beasts in this expansion. At some point they've got to start giving us some love for beasts. But Wingspan, what do we know? Well, it's an 8-cost character, which is alright, and it's got stats that are a little bit less than we would usually expect for an 8-cost character. What we've got here is attack of 3 or 4, health of 11, defense of 1 or 2. We'd generally be looking for 4, 12, 2 on an 8-cost, so it's slightly lower. But oh my goodness, this could be amazing. Now, we're going to very quickly show you both the skills first, because they're both really interesting. In bot mode, when an upgrade is scrapped from this, put it under him. Now, this is really important to note. It says an upgrade is scrapped. It does not make any reference to how it is scrapped. So, if it's something like grenade launcher that gets scrapped when you attack, fine. It goes under him. Although, do please remember, right, if it goes under, then that means that you don't get it back, alright? You don't actually get it back, presumably until the character's KO'd. You don't get it back, which means it's not in your scrap pile ready to cycle around and use again in the future. You have been warned. But whether your opponent gets rid of it with something like a ramming speed, or whether it's just one that naturally gets discarded, scrapped, or whether you just play a weapon when you've already got a weapon to scrap it, which does happen, fine. Not a problem. Go for it. The other interesting thing to note here is it is any upgrade, not just weapons or armors or utilities, any of the three. Why would you put them under him? Well, that's where the alt mode comes in. The alt mode, when you flip to this mode, draw a card. That's already pretty nice, incidentally. Oh yeah, and you get +1 defense for each card under him. You can make this pretty quickly into a ridiculous character. You can make this into a 6-7 defense character fairly quickly. Now, the thing to remember is, you need to make sure that the upgrades get scrapped in bot mode, and then you flick to alt mode to get the extra defense. You don't get the extra defense in bot mode, and you don't get to put the card under when it's scrapped when you are in alt mode. Although, to be clear, the drawing a card when you flip is actually like a really nice little bonus here. So really what we're looking to do is try and make sure that we get lots of upgrades on and lots of upgrades off again. So clearly these upgrades that we've got are gonna come in massively handy if they go away. So another one here would be Power Punch. Gives you bold free, but after you attack, you scrap this card. Scrapped from the character as long as you're in bot mode, goes underneath, job's a good un. Grenade Launch gives you +4 attack with an orange icon. Power Punch gives you bold free with an orange icon. The rule is kind of simple. If you're going heavy bold, lots of orange, then the +3 is going to be, the free bold is going to be better. But if you're not going so orange, you might as well just get the +4 attack. Bearing in mind, to get bold free into +4 attack, you need to, over those 3 cards, flip 4 orange icons, which basically means 3 orange and a double orange, or 2 orange and a white, and that white gives you 2 more orange. So if you're going really heavy orange, Power Punch might be better. Otherwise, Grenade Launcher, I think, is still probably the choice. The point is, they scrap themselves, so you're fine. Maybe your opponent will get rid of your own card. Maybe they won't. But whether they do or not, you should be able to manipulate this. Now, of course, one card we should love here is Reprocess. Reprocess is a phenomenal card. Now, firstly, it's got a green icon. Means if you flip it while attacking or defending, instead of leaving it in the scrap pile, you can swap it for a card in your hand. And secondly, it lets you scrap an upgrade from any character, and then repair 2 damage from that character. Oh, look how that worked out. So not only are you going to be scrapping upgrades from it to essentially boost your defense, but you're then also going to be healing. And of course, one of the things you really want to try and do with Wingspan is keep Wingspan alive and on the field for long enough to start taking advantage of that extra defense. That extra defense is lovely, but it doesn't really mean anything if by the time you actually get to use it, it's gone. Like, if this is destroyed, KO'd, removed, whatever you want to say, before you actually get to be in ult mode with lots of cards under him, it's kind of pointless. So that extra little bit of healing there is going to work out absolutely beautifully. Now, I have given you some examples of cards that scrap when you use them, essentially, but they've been aggressive cards. Maybe I should give you a couple of examples of more defensive cards that would fit the same mold. You could use, for instance, Blast Shield. Only gives you +2 defense, which isn't phenomenal, but the blue icon does help as well. And it gets scrapped after the battle. It's not quite as good as some of the attacking ones, but you know, it's there. Although, to be honest, nowadays, unless you really want the blue icon, might I suggest Crystal of Power. Gives you +2 defense, but it also gives you +3 attack. And it gets scrapped after battling, but you've got a black icon there, so it's one of those, it really depends what icons you're looking for. Certainly if you're willing to go black icon, that would be a really, really good option. How about Force Field? I know I mentioned Force Field a lot, I'm sorry, I love Force Field. Force Field basically says that you can only take 4 damage, and if your opponent tries to do more than 4 damage, you scrap Force Field and only take 4 damage. But now you scrap Force Field and it goes under your character and boosts your defense in the future. Woo! Of course, you don't then have Force Field in your deck for later, so something to bear in mind. Or if you want a similar kind of thing, how about Emergency Defense Field? Apparently we like cards with field in the name. We'll talk about Field Communicator in a moment. Emergency Defense Field basically says if you defend and would take an even amount of damage, you take no damage and then scrap the card. Or anytime you defend and take no damage. It's really good. No icons, unfortunately, but still one to bear in mind. I love these skills. These are fun. I should also mention you are a specialist, which means that you can play Field Communicator. Now, Field Communicator is a fun one because it gives you +1 attack, but it lets you scrap the top card of your deck and you may play it, attaching extra upgrades. Remember, if you can find ways to attach extra upgrades, I went through this quite a lot in the Outback video, I want to say yesterday, so I'm not going to belabor the point here. You can go and check that one out if you wish. But Outback is one of those characters that loves upgrades. In bot mode, if an upgrade would be scrapped by your opponent's card, you can scrap a same type of upgrade from your hand. And when you flick into alt mode, you can scrap an upgrade from your hand and draw 2 cards. So if you're playing an upgrade heavy deck and playing cards that allow you to attach extra upgrades, Multi-Tool would be an excellent example here. You can just, because Multi-Tool is an upgrade that allows you to attach an upgrade, and the more upgrades you're attaching, the more often you're going to be replacing them. And remember, you can have 1 weapon, 1 armor, 1 utility, and you can attach extra, but you've got to scrap the one that's already on there. And when you scrap the one that's already on there, oh look, now you get +1 defense in alt mode. I love Wingspan. Wingspan's fun. And I should actually add that there is a stratagem here as well, and this is one of the stratagems I think that makes the biggest difference of all the stratagems we've seen so far. It's called Strategic Airlift, and it reads, when you have Wingspan data processor on the battlefield, and an upgrade is scrapped from one of your characters, put that upgrade under Wingspan. This makes a gigantic difference. Now, I've done the whole talking about upgrades going under him, etc. We don't need to repeat any of that. But this does 2 things beautifully well. Number 1, it allows you to put upgrades under Wingspan even if you're in alt mode. If you are in alt mode when an upgrade gets scrapped from yourself, you don't need your bot mode skill because the stratagem will put it under there. The other thing is it reads scrapped from one of your characters, so it could be Wingspan, or it could be another. Now, the other thing is it does say put that upgrade under, not you may put that upgrade under. So it's something you have to do. It's not a choice, so yeah. And it is a star card, so you do have to pay an extra star for it. But if you really want to go for Wingspan, and you want to try and build a tanky deck, and you want to really push your defense, this is one of the best stratagems we've seen, because all that stuff about putting upgrades under when they get scrapped all still rings true, except now you don't have to be in bot mode, and it's not just ones scrapped from Wingspan itself. Yeah, this is a pretty nuts good stratagem. Now, they did actually show us a lovely little battle card as well, which I think we do need to mention here because it's really good. It is industrial grade phase charge, and it gives you a black icon, good in Pierce decks, bad in everything else. And it gives you +2 attack, which is not particularly great. But you have the option to scrap it, and then you get +5 attack until end of turn. Although there is a question as to whether it's actually +5 or +3, because in theory, if you scrap it, then the +2 is no longer there, so it might end up just being a +3, which is still alright. You know, +3 attack is the kind of thing we see on Static Laser of Ironhide, where you get +3 attack, but you have to take 2 damage. So I'm not poo-pooing the +3 attack, I'm just saying that it might not be +5, and that's sad. If you really want the +5, backup bag. You see, what backup bag does is allow you to discard backup bag instead, and that should, in theory, give you the +5, unless it's ruled that because you discarded backup bag instead, you didn't actually scrap this. We'll need some rulings on this, but hopefully backup bag will work. Either way, even if we ignore that battle card entirely, I'm kind of loving Wingspan. Wingspan looks like a lot of fun, but I'd like to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice, and then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy, where we talk Transformers and a whole bunch of other games, and do please consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can, well, support the channel, get some bonus pods, all kind of fun stuff. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wassy Plays.